Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. I'm Scott. There's Dave right next to me, and we have another 80s classic, I dare say. Uh, I think so. The
Okay.
Legend of Billie Jean, another Helen Slater film.
Yeah.
So, I I loved this movie, but Dave, why don't you start off and tell us what you thought?
I'll be honest with you. It was a rough start for me.
Right?
It really was. Like I didn't see where it was going. Everybody just kept making bad decisions. And I get the little brother being a jerk. I mean,
Oh my
because when
God,
the
yeah.
guys are getting picked on. But why is it in every teen movie, especially in the 80s, you always had the jockey kind of guys being the big jerks? I knew a lot of jocks back in high school. Some of them were jerks, some of them weren't. Most of the jocks that I knew, I kind of got along with.
I
The
had the
ones that I
exact
didn't get
opposite
along with
experience.
left me alone.
Yeah.
Um, but like the guys in the beginning of this movie, I was just like, who would put up with that? Nobody would put up with that crap in that town. I mean, it was a big city, but it was a small town. Where were they at? They were in Texas, and
They were in a small town in Texas, and
yeah,
I
but it was
disagree.
like
They
along
would
the
have put
oil
up with it.
coast,
Yeah,
yeah,
it was Corpus Christi area.
Corpus Christi.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody that would have put up with that shit.
Oh,
Not
dude, I
my
lived that shit.
Really? Oh my God! Because anytime anybody would start that kind of shit, there was always somebody to stand up and go, "No, motherfucker, sit down."
No, no, no. It was
Really?
they were the people that were held up just like in this fucking town. I was like, wow, yeah. So
Oh,
that was my experience
see,
in a small town.
see, a lot of mine is unless I was hanging out with the guys who were those guys. I
Could
don't,
be, you know. I
I
mean,
might have been
everybody
that
different.
guy.
Nah, man,
But
maybe.
I never mind that, folks. I'm completely wrong.
No,
Um,
what?
the
Your
like
experience is real.
I didn't mind the beginning part, but that brother and Christian Slater, wow, how young was he? What, 15
Very.
maybe? God,
Yeah.
he was very young in this. And I thought, Kat and I were talking, Helen Slater, Christian Slater, we thought brother and sister. You see their profiles, and you think, wow, they look a lot alike. They
Hmm.
kind of have the same profile. They're not related. They're not
No.
related at all. I was like, holy cow, they looked a lot alike too.
Yeah. It
Which
worked.
is
It was
probably
good
why
casting.
they hired him. But I watched this. The guy making the moves on the 15-year-old girl, or however the hell old she was. How old was she supposed to be? Do you know? I'm thinking
I don't
18,
know. I got the
19.
impression she might have been 18.
Yeah.
She was the
Um,
older sister.
See, a guy like that, where I grew up, when I grew up, if any of the guys that I knew would have found out that shit was happening to a girl that they knew, what happens at the end of this movie would have happened in the beginning of this movie.
And it should have. It should have.
But
Yeah.
yeah, there was just. I'm sorry. I just want to say this real quick. The part that I had a hardest time with was all the bad decisions being made by the
Yeah.
kids that were driving away. Her first inclination was, I'll turn myself into the cop. I know a guy. I'll go to that cop. Nope, we decided not to do that. We're gonna just keep driving across the
Yeah.
county or whatever the hell they were doing. It was just like, but I did wind up. Just throw this out there. I did wind up liking and enjoying this movie by
Yeah.
the end. It just had a really rough start for me.
It does.
You know,
And I'll speak to that. That is true. I hadn't seen this movie since the 80s when it was on
right?
cable over and over and over
And over.
and over. And it is rough at the beginning.
Right.
It's cringeworthy. Whether
Yeah.
it's the acting or direction, the story, it's just
Mhm.
like this is weak. And it does come together. It's always hard to see somebody constantly be stupid. It's hard to get behind somebody who makes such stupid decisions.
Yeah.
You can only say just a kid for so many times, before you smack them
Yeah.
upside the head.
Yeah.
But it does get going, and what
Yes.
I like about this is how fast the rumors spread
Right.
regarding
Right.
Billie Jean and her or her gang or whatever. They were like outlaws,
Yeah.
and people were making up shit. People were calling in sightings all over the state at the
The
same time. The
media.
police were getting flooded with it.
Yeah.
Um, we probably ought to back up a little bit and talk about the story. And what I took from this is a movie that I expected Keenan Wayans to pop out with message. This is a class movie. This felt like a John Hughes film, like a lot
Yeah.
of films in the 80s.
Yeah.
You've got the other side of the tracks.
Mhm.
This time it's the trailer park and so there's
Yeah.
a lot
The
of
little
that
bit
going
richer
on.
kid.
Yeah,
See,
and you
see, they
see
gave you three classes there. You were right. They gave you Billie Jean, who was the lower class, the scummy dad and his scummy kid that was like middle class,
middle.
and then you had the really uber rich kid,
Yeah.
who actually liked Billie Jean, who was just like, I'm fascinated with you. Number one, but number two, you're very pretty, and I think that kid actually just fell for her the minute he saw
did.
her. So I thought that was pretty cool.
That was
I
cool.
was wondering where Christine was at, the car.
I know, right? When I saw him, I was like,
I actually, when I was younger, just a little side note, then we'll jump back in. When I was younger, it used to crack people up. Everybody would mistake me for him.
really?
And twice I signed autographs. Because at the
that's
time
cool.
I remembered the guy's name. And twice people would not believe me. I'm like, no, I'm not him. No, I'm not. Here you go. I was just like, okay. So there's at least two people out there in the world that have me forging that guy's name because they
that's
wouldn't
funny.
take no for an answer.
That's great.
And one guy say, I thought you'd be taller. I said, I thought I would be too.
Aren't you short for a stormtrooper?
Yeah. But I'm sorry, go back. We'll go back
No,
to the show.
anyway. So we have the main character, Billie Jean, and her brother, Binks, I think.
Binks.
Yeah. I hope that was a nickname, but who knows?
Stupidest kid on the planet.
Stupidest kid on the planet. Basically, what happens is his scooter gets trashed by some bullies, and Billie Jean goes to the bullies' dad to collect the money with a bill and an estimate to get his scooter fixed. And he basically tries to bribe her with, give me sex and I'll pay this money. And
he was trying to rape her, basically.
Yeah,
through
scumbag, more bad decisions, Binks finds a gun in the cash register and ends up accidentally shooting this guy, and it sets off a manhunt. And basically, we have a folk hero created in Billie Jean that all the kids are like gravitating to because of her message. Mm-hmm. All Billie Jean wanted was the $608 to fix the scooter,
right?
Because fair is fair.
Yeah, because she just wanted to be treated fairly.
Yeah,
that was all
she wanted.
She wanted the money. $608.
Yeah, she wanted the money to come from that asshole, not somebody else to pay for it. All these places were offering free scooters and all this money and stuff. She wouldn't take it. She was very principled and very no, fair is fair, bitches.
Her brother, on the other hand, not so principled. I mean,
not so bright.
I hate to say it, but I think not that particular ass kicking. Okay, he did not deserve that particular ass kicking, but he also went about that whole situation wrong. He should have waited. He should have waited about 2 weeks and then torched their car.
Thank you. I said the exact same thing last night. I said, blow that fucking car up.
I would have waited until that kid was at home in his house. I would have Molotov cocktail his car and walked across the street and watched it burn.
Amen. I mean, that was me too, man.
Say, folks, but fair is fair.
Fair is fair.
Because they were trash. These guys weren't going to learn an easy lesson. They weren't going to, and they beat this kid up. He was probably 90 pounds, 85 pounds. Yeah. And there's 4 big guys who just beat the hell out of this kid. He's bruised and beaten. And I'm like, does this kid not have any big friends? I always had really big friends in high school.
God, you were so lucky.
If that would have been me, if I would have got my ass beat that bad by four other guys, there would have been about 20 other guys going to beat the shit out of those four guys. Only because I was the littlest one, and I was just like the
Wow.
comedy relief, I guess. I don't know.
I'm glad you had friends.
Yeah, I did have friends. At one point, I had friends.
At one point.
At one point.
Oh, but yeah, she
Not so much now.
yeah. So she ends up getting revenge and getting compensated and
Yeah.
everything. One of the things that cracked me up about this movie is the little kid walking the tape to the police station.
That kid was adorable.
He
The
was
little
cute as
red-haired
could be.
kid.
Yes.
He's just adorable.
But at first I was like, what the fuck? And then it's like,
Yeah.
it's the 80s.
Yeah.
I was walking around like that. I
Yeah.
walked to school like that. Give me a break.
That's what I said to Kat. I said, that kid can't be over 5 years, 6 years old. She goes,
Yeah.
I don't think that kid's 6.
Yeah. And
They were
nobody
smarter-
cared.
They were smarter in the 80s because they told the kid what to do at the video, and he found the cop. Could you
Yeah.
imagine trying to do that with a 5-year-old now? Be
No.
bumping into walls. He'd have thrown this thing down and walked away. Be like, you little shit, pick that up. Take it to the goddamn cop that I
Yeah.
told you to take it
So I was
to.
like, holy crap. It's like, and then the police not doing anything. I started to get mad. It's like, no, they wouldn't have done anything. So,
Well, I think that detective, Coyote's character.
well, he
would have
did
done-
say he messed up.
Yeah.
He did own it real early on. He said, oh, I think I may have screwed up.
Well, the funny thing is, I think even had she turned herself in after the initial shooting,
Hmm.
I don't think he would have let it go. The character that he was, he would have been like, okay, I see that it was an accident. I see, he put that together, but it would have been like, okay, but why did this happen? And he would have found out what that guy was doing. And I think that cop would have made his life a fucking misery. A fucking misery. And I think a whole lot of people made that guy's life a misery at the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah. I love it. His place is on fire.
Yeah.
And they're just
yeah.
watching and taking off because this motherfucker capitalized on his bullshit
Oh, yeah.
by selling
Yeah.
her image on
Mhm.
T-shirts and frisbees and posters and
Yep.
all this stuff. And it's like, you are a sleazebag. You know what? He played that part really well,
Oh,
and it's
he
a well-written
did.
character.
He played, yeah. That guy's acting, I mean, I hated that guy.
Oh yeah,
I hated that
good.
guy.
He did his
And I was
job.
like, he's the best actor in here, and I hate that guy.
Yeah.
But I liked Helen Slater. She did a pretty good job. I mean, she played the innocent little.
It was weird coming
Almost like
from
an airhead.
Supergirl to this.
Yeah, it was really hard to relate. But because I think she was playing this the way she was told to. I think she was
so.
playing it. And some people may say it was bad acting. I don't think so. I think she was actually playing it in a good way. I think she did a good job.
Well, I noticed the movie started off with some really atrocious Southern accents
Right.
that people don't sound like. And
Right.
being here in the South, I'm like, oh, God, don't do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
by the end of the movie, it's gone.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much
Either
gone.
that
by
or we
then.
just got used to the really atrocious Southern accent that was
I
in the
mean,
movie.
yeah,
I'm not
I
sure.
mean, yeah.
Bart Simpson was in this one. She
Is
was
it
the
Bart
little girl.
or does she voice Lisa?
No, she voices Bart. That's Bart
Oh, okay.
Simpson. I can't remember her name right off
Yeardley
that. I'm
Smith.
sorry.
Yeardley Smith.
Yeah, she does Bart Simpson. She might do Lisa too. I don't know.
You know, I'm gonna look it up. Maybe
But
we'll get
it's
hate
funny
mail.
when I saw her there. She looked really young there too. But Yeardley
she
Smith.
was.
Yeardley Smith though doesn't look much older than she did in this movie. I think
I
she's
know.
just got blonde hair now. So I'm not sure how old Yeardley Smith really is. I think she's an immortal. I'm just
It's
throwing
Lisa.
that out there. She was Lisa too?
No, just Lisa. She's not Bart.
Yeah, she's Bart. I'm almost sure she's Bart.
I thought she was too.
I got to look that up. That's got to be wrong.
I'm
I'm
doing it right
90% sure that if anybody's
Nancy
out there,
Cartwright. Nancy Cartwright voices Bart.
Nancy Cartwright voices Bart. I
Yeah.
always thought that was.
I did
I
too.
thought she may have done both. I'm sorry, folks. That was Lisa Simpson, not Bart.
I
My
thought so too,
mistake.
but no, she was Lisa.
I always get those two mixed up. I okay, never mind.
So anyway, yeah,
My
but
bad.
it was cool.
It's
As
a
you were saying,
Simpson.
she doesn't she is such a unique look
Yeah.
that she's adorable in this. I love her character and I
She's so,
feel for her
she's
character.
so annoying and adorable.
She
I
is, but I tell you what, in the police station when her mom slaps her and she turns
oh
around and grabs the
shit.
scissors, I thought, "Oh fuck." And then she cuts her hair off like Billie
Yeah.
Jean.
Mama's going down. I mean, all the cops are like, no, 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 don't do that, because they think she's going to go for her mom. But that mom must have slapped her a lot for her to have that reaction. I mean,
Yeah.
that's, oh. But I like when Billie Jean is turning her and her friend over to the police. She's
Yeah.
like, I can't let these guys follow me around. Something could happen, and if something happens, I don't want them hurt. So she calls the cops, tells them where they're at. And I know we're going all over the place on this movie because we ruin movies constantly, folks. Just
Yeah.
please bear with me. There is a moment when you see that Peter Coyote's character, the cop, the lieutenant or captain, I'm not sure. They all pull up. There's a station wagon. The two are asleep in the back seat. Yeardley Smith and the other girl. And Peter Coyote's character walks up and he's standing there looking at him. He smiles down at him because they're passed out. These kids are passed out. And he looks over at his partner and his partner's laugh. They're all smiling. The cops are all like, "Oh, isn't that sweet?" You know, they know these kids are absolutely no fucking danger. All the cops know this. Everybody in this town knows it. And then his partner just gives him a little nod, and Peter Coyote starts kicking the shit out of where their heads are at. Where do you get up? Get up, get up! And those kids are like, "What the hell?" Well, you can see it all. The cops are like, "Oh, they're so adorable. This is going to be heart-wrenching." Kick the fuck out of that damn car.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was good. That was good. The script itself, I just think it needed to be tightened up a lot. And we were talking last night, the wife and I were talking, that if you were going to do this today, you could still do a lot of it the way it was done, but the way that social
Media.
media
It'd be a
works.
completely different movie. I mean, big time
I don't
because
think
of
so.
that.
Because we were talking about that. The one really cool scene is while Billie Jean's running, she's got this following that it's helping her hide from the cops.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked over at Kat, I said, "That's fucking brilliant." She keeps changing cars. All these girls are cutting their hair, like just butching their hair down.
It's like an underground network for Billie Jean.
It would be so hard to catch her at that point. Honestly, even with the pictures and everything, because there were so many of the girls that looked like her, I was starting to think, oh my God, you'd never catch her. If she didn't want to be caught at that point, because they're changing cars. She's jumping on motorcycles.
Mm-hmm.
She's coming into other cars, and people are just driving her to the next car or next place, and everybody's hiding her. And I was like, oh my God, that'd be great. She goes, no, but social media, they'd figure that out. I said, how did they get together here? I said, that's all you'd have to do. You could say everybody's following her on social media, but when it comes to the cars, you can just go back to how all these kids were talking. Because they were just at malls and shit saying, okay, this is where you're going to be at such and such a time. This is where you're going to be at such and such a time. And just figure it out that way without being on social media. Nobody's putting it in.
They'd just be using burner phones and it'd be done.
Yeah, you'd never catch them. But I thought it would be kind of cool. Like, it was just like a problem for a script. Like, how would you fix that problem?
Yeah.
You don't really have to fix it. You just keep
true.
one portion of it the way. But I think one tight rewrite could have fixed a lot of the problems they had in this movie. But I'm willing to let a lot of the stuff go because by the time this movie's over, I'm like, yeah, go Billie Jean.
Fair's fair.
Fair's fair. It's an 80s movie, man. It is
80s through and through, and that's what I love about it. It's funny because I was laughing last night watching. It's like, oh my God, we were just left to walk wherever as kids, and we did. It's like, what the hell? It's like, wow, this is really the fucking 80s, and it's people will go back and look at this now, like kids today, and find it the most unbelievable thing, but it's very believable. I mean,
there were people in the malls back in the 80s.
Yeah. I don't even go to malls. There's people there.
See, here's a couple of things that got me in this movie. The cops. Just let that one guy do whatever the hell he wanted.
I
Now, you
know.
may fall for a lot of stupid shit. You may go, okay, you can stand here and be stupid. But the minute that kid jumped over and tried to catch her on his own, those cops would have been all over that kid like
They
white on
should have
rice,
been.
and they
Yep.
would have beat the shit out of him and his friends. Plus, that father would have been arrested for fucking interfering with law.
Hmm.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it. That guy would have been fucking arrested. You cannot tell me. I don't give a fuck. He did not have that much money. He didn't have that much fucking clout to stay out of jail. I don't give a fuck who he was or who he knew. He was
No.
not going to get out of jail.
But they couldn't. They had to set it that way.
Yeah, they had to keep it going, but it was so unbelievable when you know about how, especially cops in Texas. I'm sorry. They're getting ready to bust somebody and you fuck up their bust. Back in the 80s, you might not have ever been seen again.
Might not.
No
Might
matter how
not.
big a town person you are, and everybody knows you and goes to your t-shirt shop. It doesn't matter. Or whatever the hell shop he owned.
Yeah. Douchebags. That's what he sold
Oh,
himself.
yeah.
Big fat douchebag.
Could you imagine
Um,
the lawsuit she would have had?
yeah.
Just from looking at all those t-shirts, if I were her, I'd
Oh,
be
that's
like,
the first thing I said. It's like,
this
holy
is
shit,
all
he
my
owes her.
money.
Yep.
All the money you made is now mine.
Yeah.
Now the $608 has just multiplied.
But I think she got better payment by watching his little empire burn.
Yep.
And he's like, help me, help me.
Yeah.
No, nah, bitch.
I think the son always knew his dad was a dick, but I don't think he knew to what extent. And I think when he saw exactly and heard what she was saying to him, I think the kid put two and two together.
He did.
And that's when he just kind of fades into. You see this guy's son who's been a dick through the whole show.
Hmm.
When his father starts falling apart and Billie Jean finally comes out and says, you're a scumbag. What were you going to teach me? What were you, how she's talking about him trying to rape her. And the son is like coming to the crowd because he's going to go after Billie
Yeah,
Jean.
the son looks obviously surprised.
Yeah, then the son starts hearing what she's saying and listen to the dad's response. And you just see the son like almost like I can't, like realization kicks in, like I can't believe this, but I always knew it kind of thing.
That's what I got too, that he's like, it just got confirmed.
Yeah, I saw it, but I didn't want to believe it kind of thing. And he just turns around and walks away from his dad. And his dad's calling for him. And he just walks away.
And not to defend Hubie because he's a dickhead in this fucking movie.
No,
but it was very clear to me that all of the main kids had some shitty parents or something shitty somewhere.
Yeah.
And he was not, just because he was the son of this asshole, I got the impression right away that he had been abused. Like when when those kids go get her and she goes to save that guy. And that was great.
That was good.
I do like the whole Joan of Arc thing. I thought that was kind of cool.
It was a little, I felt it was going to be a little forced. That's why I texted you and was like, does anybody die in this? Because I was halfway expecting her brother to die. And folks,
it felt like it was set up.
I'm going to ruin it for you. She doesn't die. But I was
Thank
expecting.
God. I would have hated this movie.
See, that's what I was expecting because they used to do that back in the late 70s, and they did it a couple of times in the 80s where the hero at the end dies, and you're like, what? Why did I just watch this movie? But I was waiting for her to die, like, or for her brother to die in the fire and that, and I thought maybe she was going to die in a fire somehow, like. And whenever I saw that thing going up, I was like, oh, he lied. The son of a bitch lied to me.
I wouldn't have lied to you.
I was like, he's lying to me. She's going to die. She's going to be burned up. But then you see the effigy that was above the building of her. And I was like, yeah. And she's just standing there watching it burn. Like, couldn't have happened to a nicer guy because he didn't have insurance.
No. And look at this. We saw a transformation, much like Joan, of Billie Jean into a small peasant girl into leading an army, basically, and getting justice. And then as her effigy burns up, that Billie Jean is gone, and you have a new Billie Jean there. And it's a cool movie. It's a feel good movie. I was fair is fair.
I just think it needed a better rewrite. I will give you this. It is very 80s. It's very low budget. I only have, my really big two problems are there wasn't enough of her being the rebel
I'll give
for
you that.
everybody to just glom onto her and go,
It felt like, wow, how'd that happen so
hero.
fast? But
Yeah, this is where we're going. Because it was only one shot. I mean, she only shot the one guy. And if it would have been shown that everybody in the town that was backing her really hated this guy and knew what a scumbag he was, and that's why everybody was rallying behind her, I would have understood it. But they didn't really show that.
no.
And if she would have gone and saved more kids, like she saved that one little boy, if there would have been a few more of those, I would have understood it. Like she's finally, she's found her calling. Like I'm going to save kids from people like this. You know what I mean? That would have I think I would have got that a little bit more. I think they needed to push that a bit more.
Yeah, I can see that. It seemed like everything happened so fast, but I have a feeling some time had passed, some days had moved through.
Yeah.
But I also, when I started to think that, it's like, let it go, Scott. Unplug, watch,
Yeah.
and just let it
Yeah.
ride, and it works.
Yeah.
It's
And
because
that's
we
what
can
you have to
critique
do.
the shit out. Yeah, you do, because it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. It's like, how did she amass this much? It's like, fuck it, she did.
Yeah, she just did. And I
Yeah.
like the thought that it was a simple like payback, Mel Gibson's payback. I
Yeah,
want my $20,000 or $2,075, whatever the hell his money was. It was very much, I just want what's coming to me. I want what's owed me. No more, no less.
No.
I can do the rest on my own. I just want what you owe me. And that was it. And had that asshole actually just paid the money, she would have fucking forgotten about him trying to rape her
It'd have been done.
whatever weird shit he was trying to do. She would have went like, okay, you're just an asshole. I'll warn all the girls about you and moving on.
we're done.
But
Yep.
yeah, we're done. But man, that guy,
Oh,
I rather enjoyed watching his entire life burn down.
yeah. So mad props to the actor, and I'm hell with names and didn't look him up. But I'll go ahead and give my final
Go ahead, yeah.
final thoughts on this. It is 80s through and through.
Yeah.
It's a little slow to get going,
Yeah.
but once it does, it is a fun movie. And yes, things were really like that in the 80s. I'm sorry, 5-year-olds would walk around. I was buying cigarettes probably by 7, so it's like nobody cared.
Yeah. I remember 9 or 10 going in and buying a pack of cigarettes.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, so it was not uncommon in the 80s to see a bunch of toddlers chain smoking outside the mall.
Sad but true.
We had to grow up fast. That's all there is to it. Really fucking fast.
We didn't have rehab in my day. If you wanted to stop doing drugs, you just went
You had
down
to die first.
drinking beer and smoking cigarettes, and that was it. I'm in rehab.
Yeah. Exactly. So, but it is a fun movie.
My life is sad.
It's got a good message. By the end of the movie, it feels good, and I really dig this one.
After the initial, excuse me, after that guy initially gets shot, that's when for me it really starts picking. Because I'm really uncomfortable. I was really uncomfortable with that scene, and I think knowing that scene was coming, because I knew something happened to her. I thought it was her mother's boyfriend that did it, but I was glad to see that wasn't the case. That it was just some random asshole that she gets even with at the end. But that I think is what was my initial, I don't like this movie, because I knew what was coming, and I knew what had to happen to make the character become to transform. You know what I mean?
Can I interject real quick?
Sure.
That's one thing that I'm so glad they handled the way they did. Is she did not get raped, but
no,
that was his intention. That was his intention, and you got all the sleaze and all it. When I say cringeworthy, this is one of the scenes. It's very hard to watch because this actor and her responses to they're acting off of each other in this is so fucking good. It just David, I'm right there with you. That shit creeped me the fuck out.
That was cringing me up. I was just like, man, I hope that brother walks in there and just shoots him. Like, wow, and he does, but he, it's because the brother is looking at the goddamn cash box going, oh, here's our money. And the girl's like, you can't take that. He's like, why? I got it coming to me.
He's right.
The brother was very, very logical.
He was very black and white, yeah.
He was very black and white. I'm going to take
All he
this
wanted to
money.
do was go to Vermont, but then it was too cold.
Yeah, it's too cold. Oh, that's so
All
funny.
right, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interject, but go ahead.
No, that's funny. But that was like that was my hump getting over. I like when she met the rich kid. I think they should have just ended the movie a little bit different because I'm all for the super happy ending. They had a happy ending, but I love the super happy ending, which would have been her thumbing out a ride and the rich kid pulling up and going, why are you thumbing a ride? Or just pulling up and going, hey, sexy, come on in, or whatever stupid line he could have made. And that's when her and the brother jump in, and the brother could have said, what took you so long? We've been waiting for you. So they've been going cross-country together.
Yeah.
The kid's taking them up to a family cabin, obviously, or something. That would have been my Uber, my Wayne's World. The super Uber happy ending.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad there's a happy ending. Usually, my wife will make fun of me because I like movies that have incredibly tragic endings.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I do.
Just samurai movies for me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But I like a happy ending. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't mean it that way. I like my movies.
Happy endings.
Okay. Anyway, I like a good ending to the movie.
Back pal. Just relax.
All right now. So
you can cut all this out.
Anyway, yeah. So I get it. I thought it ended well, and I'm good with that. But
yeah, it was a good movie.
I don't know where I was going. That really derailed real quick. So
it wasn't great. It was entertaining. Will I watch it again? Probably. I'd probably watch it again. Because, like I said, Christian Slater was so young, and he was such a good actor. You don't like Christian Slater, and that's the kid that all the shit starts over. You're supposed to have sympathy for this kid. I was just like, smack him already. Would somebody give him another smack?
Yeah. He was a needed character.
That's why the kids beat him up.
Yeah.
Maybe it is all Christian Slater's fault.
None of it is his fault.
No, none of it's his fault, folks. I'm only kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy this movie. My little niddly piggly, nitpicking, Peter Coyote. He shows up. He takes command of the stage, man. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Definitely. So, our old asses give this old ass movie a thumbs up and definitely take a watch. Maybe once, maybe twice. It's a good flick. It's a fun one. And make sure and hit the like button, hit the subscribe, share, tell. Thank you for listening and watching. And we will be back next week with something exciting, I'm sure.
Thank you very much, folks.